And with that, folks, we're getting ourselves into a game 2. I hope it is as action-packed and scrappy as that last one. I think scrappy is really the word to define it. What do you think? Once again, this is Alliance versus Team Empire. It's game 2. I am Llama Down Under. I'm joined by PQMZ. What do you think Empire needs to do differently to get themselves back into this series and take us to a game 3?
Not a big fan of the first phase gyro, so maybe step away from that. I feel like they played decently around it, but I feel like the hero's just not strong enough right now that you can pick it into anything. Like Alliance had really good heroes to deal with it because you can't zone the bear away from you. Sure, you can kite it a bit with the cooldown, but it's generally tanky enough to just run at you. And damage is really good against the hero. Once Lesh got BKB, he didn't care either, and he could just run in. And because Lesh got it later than the gyro did, his BKB outlasted the gyros. So
yeah. And
maybe they opt to change up a bit.
It is a problem with gyro. It feels like he takes a long time to get the physical damage online. And when you had heroes like the ones on Alliance who just were able to flash farm up those BKBs, your gyrocopter does nothing. So.
And on top of that, the initiation for them wasn't the best, so he was always having to be in the front. Like, as soon as they saw the Darkseer blinking, they'd just pop BKBs. And his wall vacuum had to be perfect for them to stand a chance in the fights. So, maybe if they want to go for the gyro again, they can look for something like the clock or more standard initiating heroes. But Alliance opting for the Tusk again, it just makes the hero weaker in general, I feel. It's really good against gyro.
Team Empire's turn to pick.
Definitely true. I also worry about the Darkseer first. Maybe it's giving too much away. As we saw, they're very comfortable picking up the Lone Druid instead, which doesn't suffer from the Darkseer. They're very comfortable picking up things like Leshrac, which again, because of Leshrac's damage output type not being physical, and as you said, not having a bunch of auras, pretty... I mean, you make an illusion of Leshrac, Leshrac is like, this is fine. I will pulse Nova it.
Yeah, I think if they're willing to change up how they play the Darkseer, I don't think it's bad. Because, say they look to do the same thing again from Alliance, where they put one or two heroes against it that you think is a favorable lane, maybe they just put a Spirit Breaker or an Undying or something to pair with the Darkseer to make the lane more secure.
Yeah.
Mess with Alliance's lanes more, then that's a viable option. So I think the hero's fine in the first two.
Yeah, as well, I think maybe going to something like the Dazzle, a bit easier to, quote, keep your idiots alive, and so on. We'll see how this pans out. But now Alliance go with the gyro, and so everything we just said about, you know, worried about your heroes, early BKBs can be used against Alliance, and certainly someone like Dazzle. Maybe you don't want to run into the gyrocopter early on and man fight him, but when you've got Dazzle support, that shallow grave, you don't mind if a full rocket barrage is unloaded into your face.
I don't think you ever want to have a rocket loaded into your face, but I don't mind it as much here because Tusk is a way of initiating. It pairs quite well with the gyro. On top of that, he deals well with a Darkseer lane. So I think that's Alliance's reason for picking him, on top of the fact it's quite a good hero for how they play. So I can see the reasoning behind it. Hopefully it works out better than we've seen the last 3 gyro games.
Yep. And just so folks know, tell me, I know they won't know this for 2 minutes. I'll try to keep an eye on chat. I heard some reports that maybe stream's lagging a bit. If it is, I can always restart, but I think it's actually okay. So, because I'm not lagging. I am apparently not lagging on my end, but I will try to keep an eye on it, folks, and so sorry if you're having some connection issues. But let's get, as you said, we got a Spirit Breaker, we got the Brood Mama banned out, and Nature's Prophet wasn't banned or picked last game, or did I just forget it? It wasn't banned or picked, right?
Correct.
So, Empire, not afraid. No fear.
Literally. In the flesh.
Oh,
no
wow,
fear.
I did not mean to... That was an accident, so,
Oh, you just have to run with it. You can't address it. You just have to go with it.
Oh, but I'm not actually a wordsmith, so it's all accidental. Either way, Alliance have chance to ban out more heroes that they think would do well against the gyrocopter, so they get rid of the slaughter that they had such a great time on, you know? Because I think they're very well aware that Empire could turn around and do exactly what Alliance just did to them.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a smart thing to do.
So,
when you pick it
10
second,
seconds
where they've
remaining.
already got both their picks, you have the option to ban out the heroes, which helps a lot.
5 seconds.
So let's say
remaining.
maybe Team Empire, let's say they're trying to sneak a Huskar. It's totally possible with the Dazzle pickup. Is it too obvious if you ban the
Reserve
AA here?
time.
Well, they have the pick following this, so they could definitely ban the AA and take it.
And do you think
Huskar
picking...
is so good against Gyro. It is
Yeah.
insane.
Do you think it's maybe not got... I mean, it feels like Huskar needs to be picked with... Huskar can fight at level 3, right? The Doxia wants to wait probably until... Level 9 is ideal. He can actually fight at level 6, but your vacuum isn't going to be that huge. Batrider banned out instead. Do you think
Team
picking the
Empire's
Huskar here is
turn
risky,
to
though? I
pick.
mean, you know the Slaughter is banned out. You've got the Dazzle. The Wyvern might come out, but I don't know how much you have to worry about that. The Gyrocopter's all magic damage.
I think if they're going to pick it, it's 4th or 5th. They didn't ban the AA, but I don't think Empire's ever played the Huskar. I could be completely wrong on this. I've just never seen it firsthand.
Alliance's turn to
Yeah.
pick.
And instead it's the Rubik. I mean, everything Tusk has is fantastic to steal, right? You can, as a Rubik player, you can definitely do all of the business with the ice shards, with the snowball. Rubik Wars punches a bit, or whatever. But it just feels like, I don't know, I'm not in love with this Rubik right here. It's a bit of lockdown, but telekinesis isn't actually that much.
10 seconds remaining.
It's a pretty squishy hero to play against Tusk and Gyro, so
5
hopefully that he
seconds remaining.
pairs something with it carry-wise that makes it shine
Reserve
instead of
time.
just being like a 4-position hero. Yeah, that isn't particularly ideal. I can understand why they pick it though, because they don't want to give too much away from their cause. They want to have as much information from Alliance as possible, especially when you're a game down. You don't want to be counterpicked and lose a game because say you pick Huskar and then they just pick AA.
Yeah.
The example we just listed. That can lose you a game. So it's a safer draft, but it's not the ideal hero here.
So, I don't know. I wish they'd banned out the A, but I think S4's Batrider obviously a big pain. And that's kind of one of those things, it feels like right now for Empire, they're not known for any particular heroes being super great on them. I mean, the Silencer on Silent is kind of something they used to play quite a bit. I am having trouble thinking of more iconic heroes, which I would be really concerned about Empire picking up and wanting to ban against them.
Team
Well,
Empire's
before
turn
the
to
role
pick.
switches, Resolution's Invoker was, I think, one of the best in the world. Yoki's Shaker was also insane as his Mag, or Yoku, sorry. But unfortunately, now they've done the role swap. I guess Mag's still applicable, but the others not so much.
Yeah, it does get harder, and I think you can still... I wonder how much this impacts teams. They've clearly done a role swap, right? Maybe
10
you decide,
seconds
hey,
remaining.
actually Yoku's... this hero is fantastic, let's do a swap, or as you
5
said, maybe let's have
seconds
Resolution Invoker because the hero got buffs last patch. I wonder how much you can do that, or if you've been practicing too much that it just messes with
Reserve
synergy.
time.
Because we saw in Cloud9, they played with Mason as a stand-in, and they put Ritsu on mid, and it seemed like their team just kind of fell apart. I don't know whether it was the role change or having a stand-in, but they really
10
didn't have the
seconds
synergy,
remaining.
and I just wonder how much that changes. And this is actually a staple.
Alliance's turn to
Silent
pick.
Luna is pretty Empire, if anything.
Yeah, I suppose so, actually. It's not the hero that came to mind, but now you said it, it definitely rings a bell.
Not someone we've been seeing a lot this patch, though. Really, melee carries have been the name of the day, hence why Darkseer is so prized.
I think Luna's one of those heroes that can just manage to secure her early
10
game.
seconds
She
remaining.
scales pretty well. She does really well in teamfights. She's pretty similar to a Gyro,
5
just
seconds remaining.
a few different quirks about how you have to manage your ultimate and such. So
Reserve
I think
time.
it works well with the Dazzle Rubik though. It gives them a really strong lane that's hard to contest for Alliance.
Yeah.
It could even be some kind of aggressive lane if they think the Darks is going to crush its one-on-one matchup.
Definitely true. So, with Alliance... Oh, we're gonna see Alfredo again.
Team Empire's
Do you like Alfredo?
turn to
Do you
pick.
think that's an appropriate name for a bear?
I think whatever Bulldog names his bear is his business and we should call it whatever he wants.
Wow, I don't know. I think you gotta... I went to my friend's house the other day, and his cat is named Haley, and I was
10
just like...
seconds remaining.
You can't name
That's
your cat
not a cat
Haley.
name.
Exactly! I was like, why the shit is your cat named
5
Haley? And he's
seconds
like,
remaining.
her name's Haley. Also, she was a bit of a pissy cat, but that's neither here nor there, because he fed me curry, so I can't complain about his cat.
Reserve time.
Anyway, back into the game. Leshrac banned out by Empire. They don't want to have to deal with that again. But I feel like leaving stuff like the Windrunner. I mean, S4 has a big ass hero pool. So I don't know if the Leshrac that had been nerfed is as worrisome. But again, it might just be the whole Leshrac isn't really a hard right clicker, and so getting the illusion of him isn't as valuable as maybe some of those other mids.
Could be a puck game. The good old S4 puck. That hero is so bad right now in comparison.
Wait, so you say, yeah, it could be a puck game, and then you're like, by the way, the hero sucks. Just sucks.
Yeah, but it synergizes well with their heroes, right? They have two really strong cores in the Lone Druid, the Gyro. They have the ability to move around the map early with the Wyvern Tusk. If you put a puck in there as well, especially as they get to see the mid lane from Empire, if it's a slightly susceptible mid lane, then Puck and Tusk can do a pretty good job at snowballing an advantage, all pun intended. And then the hero's really good against Darkseer, Dazzle, Rubik. They just can't do anything against the hero. Luna, it's kind of touch and go with. But I don't think it's the idea against Razor. That hero is going to crush it mid.
Yeah, typically a hero that wins mid, and they've got some nice synergy here. If they want to go for some early pushing with the Luna, the Darkseer can certainly push a bit too, and of course Razor when he gets up his Ags much later in game. So you have a lot that you can do. If you take a team fight, you can clearly very easily get those racks down. But also on the other hand, I mean, Alliance, they've got some split push in the Lone Druid. Bulldog certainly knows how to play this hero, and good pickoff potential. I think a smoked Rubik Dazzle can certainly get pickoffs. Maybe not as much game impact overall, though. No, that's not the way I wanted to say it. Not as much roaming impact as I think a Tusk can have with those Ice Shards and Snowball.
Yeah, unfortunately Empire have like next to zero catch right now, so Alliance opting to not exploit it too much. Lina can definitely still cut waves and split push a lot, but it's not an extreme option. They're opting to try and fight as well. I wouldn't have been surprised if they just picked a hero that... Maybe Ember wouldn't have been a bad example, but I don't think it's an ideal pick for them because it's a tiny bit greedy. But if Empire can't catch you and you can defend your high ground with Wyvern and Tusk all day, then really hard for them to win the game.
Yeah, so...
Lina does a similar thing. She's really good at high ground. She's good at bursting down Luna through BKB, same with Razor.
Yeah, and I think also it's really nice because, again, another illusion hero that's kind of like, make an illusion of me. That's fine.
10
So,
seconds remaining.
I think she cares a lot about getting vacked into damage, but I don't think it's the wall that she cares about.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately,
So...
Darkseer's just... I think he's just a mech buyer this game. He doesn't... You know, surging the Razor so he doesn't get kited, I guess, is the best use of the hero.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you heard the background noise. Hopefully you didn't.
Yeah, it could hear it.
Oh, great. Yeah, never mind.
Small amount.
Good. Glad you didn't hear any of that. Anyway, but yeah, you were saying I was slightly distracted by something in the background, but I am no longer distracted. It is my turn to introduce Empire, I believe.
C.
Excellent. I only heard you say the word E, so I don't know. We also have a pause. That's
I said C.
Oh, C.
Yes.
Yeah, I just heard E, and I was like, E. A?
Whoops.
Anyway, Yoku is playing up that Razor. Aloha Dance on Rubik. No Fear on the Dazzle. Resolution on the Darkseer. Silent on the Luna.
Over for Alliance, we've got S4 and Lina, Aki on Wyvern, Loader on the Gyro, Minuts on the Tusk, and Admiral Bulldog playing Alfredo +1.
Alfredo +1. On the Bearman. Yeah, I feel like they've been doing this both games. They actually have Arcade TP mid. Last game he put a mid ward around there. Oh, that wasn't the... Oh, but Jesus. Microsoft, please. He put one there. This time he instead went for the low ground, the low down ward. But I really like that he TP'd to mid. Although they didn't go for it early, I think that you definitely get people who TP on Radiant. They'll TP out here, they'll do a search over here, and since he came mid, they won't see it. But will we have a 5-man engagement? They see you, Silent, using that Arctic Burn. He's taking a bit of harass, and here comes the Snowball. Is anybody else in it? They don't need it. They got Loda in there, and that is more than enough. But can they actually catch up? That telekinesis by Aloha Dance. So well played. And now the rest of Empire, maybe they'll be able to strike back with this wraparound, but no such luck. It's just the two of them.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, that was kind of unfortunate for Alliance. The play from Ake is like really heads up next level stuff from a support. Most people have just gone into the habit of TPing to like the safe lane tower or the off lane tower to place a ward, but going mid allows you to get these more rolling wards for especially the rune spots. Really nice to see, like people thinking out the box a bit.
The battle begins.
Yep. So, really well done there. Aloha Dance he actually has boots first. So where is our Dazzle, who doesn't have sentries either? Wow, both teams, am I seeing this right? Going with the no early game sentry strat.
I think it's alright, to be honest.
I would be pretty concerned. I think most teams you expect with the Lina, you're gonna have, the Lina will have a high ground ward, as we can see here, just so that she can really hit those dragon slaves. And she's just gonna get walked like a dog. I like to call the static link walking the dog. And Yoko's happy.
Can't interpret that in a inappropriate way at all.
No, you can't. Anyway, you can't. No, it's just like when you yo-yo walk the dog. Anyway, so Yoko's
I know what
gonna...
you mean, but Twitch chat is Twitch chat.
Oh, I don't read it when I'm casting afterwards. I'm sure they'll fill me in on all the unfortunate things I've said. So, either way, I think the mid lane, obviously for Lina, a bit easy to spam, but Yoku can always get that nice leash off. Although Lina, she's really long ranged, so maybe she'll be able to withstand this. And S4, very experienced on this hero.
Yeah, this is definitely a Lina favored matchup for the reasons you said. Mostly the range, but also her nukes are just more efficient
Yeah.
than the Razors.
Yeah, Razors
And there's
is...
a lot more kill potential at level 6 from the Lina as well.
So, probably at some point as well, the Dazzle will piss off and Lina can be a real menace. Either way, up top, we have Gyro already taking a lot of harass from the Ion Shell, but that happens when you're a fake ranged hero. At 365 range, you're not really ranged. So,
Yeah. He's still really good at dealing with the Darkseer once he gets his levels up, and it's hard for him to lane when he knows Virtus is there. There's a lot of kill potential.
Yep. So, always nice. Admiral Bulldog has stolen the creep wave. English is hard. Stolen the creep wave. He's gonna get himself some nice fat experience, which is always great for him. So I'm not quite sure which of these lanes will blink first. I have to imagine if the Rubik is able to, with those boots, get up something good, he should be able to get up a good start, transition into a gank. At the same time, Wyvern with the Arctic Burn, well, if anybody were top, I think has some potential, but I think we're in for a much slower game than last time.
Yeah, Empire definitely don't have the best heroes at the moment. With how they're laning to put a lot of pressure, the Dazzle sitting mid is still not doing much. Like, the Razor's pulling the farm of S4, but he's falling behind on levels. The only upside to what the Dazzle's doing is he made, I think it was at least a triple stack for the Darkseer, to put him up to level 3.
Yeah,
The
Darkseer...
Rubik's still sitting level 1 bottom, which is a big problem.
Yeah, he's been harassing the bear. I was about to ask you about this. He's been even using telekinesis on the bear in an attempt to get more damage onto it, so...
Might as well. That's like a bit of value for him, I guess.
Yeah.
No reason to not do it.
And on the other hand, as you said, the stack not helping. Darkseer has already decided top lane is too dangerous, too scary. Ice Shards, while you can surge away from Arctic Bone, it still hurts. You can surge away. You can't always get out of a perfectly placed Ice Shards, and so I guess deciding that he wants a few levels, he might not ever go back up top, especially if the stacks are efficient.
Yeah, I think only person that's going to look to go top is maybe the Rubik if they push in and he TPs up to the sap some XP.
Yeah.
But right now, he's just trying to zone out bottom, which is not working very well. This is one of the few games I've seen Lone Druid on the offlane actually get levels. Not getting the most CS, but he's level 4 just before 4 minutes. This is really good for him.
Oh, and I missed the first blood on the Razor as I'm looking at Bear Man. Shame on me. We can ding ding ding, shame. That I know Twitch chat likes to do. So, but yeah, it looks like the snowball came in from my nuts and just managed to kill off Yoku there. Probably a little bit out of position as well, but Razor not having the range advantage here, he went down. So now, I think actually if my nuts came bottom, he could probably do some good work on Luna as well. Especially easy to go in before she hits that level 6 and you're not as worried about the Eclipse.
Yeah, and because she's sitting at like half HP, if you just catch her with Snowball and get a good shard block, the Rubik has to be there at the right time to save her.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not bad pressuring the safe lane at all.
Oh, we have a Light Strike Array and a Laguna Blade. Resolution's gonna go down to a... Oh, S4 gets the last hit, but the Splinter Blast would have finished him off if not for that. And just a really nice Light Strike Array hitting there. So, already S4 getting himself some good farm, switching over to net worth just because this is the real story of the game, all things considered, when he has 2 kills.
Yeah, I like that Resolution tried to go back up top when the lane was pushing a bit, but instantly getting punished for it. I don't think he'll do it again. Even though it's really close to his tower right now, and you'd really want to go get this XP. Opting to go to the woods instead.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's clearly shown it's a... Oh, actually, he's TP'd up top, as you said. He wants that experience, and I think he has to be very careful here, because there is a my nuts looking behind the tower for him. Actually,
oh, Aloha Dance is dead.
Oh, yeah, it looks
I don't know
like
what he's doing, trying to, like, attack the bear when there's an entire creep wave on him and he's level 5. Like, Bulldog might only have, like, 2 or 3... Okay, he's actually got a lot of CS in the past, like, 2 waves, but he's winning this lane.
Yeah, we've got some body blocks coming out from Nofia. Actually, Minot's going a different way. Gonna see if he can get an Ice Shards block, but here comes Razor as well. He gets the block, but the Surge around it by Resolution, and this Plasma Field, one more auto attack, gonna lead to the death. Darkseer somehow picks that one up. Well done. But yeah, Admiral Bulldog is getting so much out of this lane. Like you said, Aloha Dance, I think, expecting Fade Bolt to do more work at bottom.
Like, this is one of the few games where you can actually get away with this offlane, and thing I want to point out that Luna's done as well, because she feels the pressure from Bulldog. She's gone for the 2 levels in Aura, which I find really gimps your farming as the game goes on. Not having level 4 in the glaives just makes your ancient stacks slower, makes your jungling slower, your team fights worse as well, arguably, because it's such a big jump from 3 to 4. I've even opted to skip level 2 Eclipse before, because the level 2, getting the extra level in glaives is just so big.
It is certainly a better farming tool, and I don't know if she... Well, actually, they have a crap ton of stacks coming out, and now S4, is he still invisible? Yes, he is. Kill the Courier. Kill the Courier. He's not gonna go for it. That would be crazy talk. They don't know where you are yet, S4. They're just doing stacks, and here comes Minot, immediately gonna pick off Nofia, just using that Laguna Blade, and now they're toning around on S4, but Light Strike Array on Yoku. Minot's also, he's trying to draw them away. They're splitting it up. Again, actually, I think Minot's is getting out A-okay this time. So not gonna be the sacrificial lamb. S4 may have noticed the stacks, wasn't able to do anything about it, but the Dazzle pick, you're certainly happy with that, especially after the fact that she'd been stalking.
Actually kill Yoku as well.
Oh yeah, looking like Yoku in a spot of trouble. They didn't quite get the block they needed. Will they have it with the Dragon Slave coming out? Yes, they do.
Oh,
Yoku
so
goes down. Did they actually have...
Nice to juke the stun as well.
Yeah, they didn't have... Oh, the ward, no, the ward, they did have vision. The ward just expired for the line, for Alliance, so they actually did have vision of Yoku's movement.
We're getting a really fortunate rune as well, though.
Yeah.
And it's also, like, you see that really big stack and you're like, you're so tempted to try and contest it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he just does a really smart thing. He goes for the kill and gets out. And they end up sharing the stack between, like, 3 heroes, I think, XP-wise, so it wasn't efficient from Empire. Like, completely efficient. The Alliance just getting ahead on, like, the general trades in this game.
We're a little bit ahead, as you said, 2,000 gold, almost 2,000 experience ahead for Alliance, doing really well there. And Wyvern popping around, looking at the levels. Yeah, we don't have supports hitting their level 6 yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if with some abandoned lanes, like S4 going to the jungle, we do have Tusk poking his head in middle, seeing what he can make of that while S4 does some stacks. Both, I feel like the Lina...
Go CS middle now instead of coming to the stacks. I don't know why Minus is there. Maybe he wants to smoke afterwards.
Yeah,
that would be like the acceptable play, I guess.
I definitely expected him to go for the middle farm, because no one's there, so...
Yeah, like, that's 3 creeps he misses for that. Which, you might look at it and go, well, he's only a support, it doesn't really matter, but... Those things are just so useful when you're not getting too much off the map.
Having level 6 on your supports is ridiculously fantastic. We've seen the power of early Walrus Punch, and it's also additional lockdown, not just some
But S4 has
damage.
a blink.
Middle tower is under attack.
Already?
Yeah. I haven't seen Blink Leaner in a long time, especially as the first item. I kind of think Shadow Blade's more usual build, but hopefully he gets a lot of work done with this early.
Well, he has to, otherwise the purchase won't be worth it, and as you mentioned, it isn't something we've seen as a first item in a while, but we'll see. So now, let's... I feel like they're trying to set up this gank on Bulldog for so long. They do have a smoke between them. They haven't been stacking. It just feels like they've been trying to catch up Bulldog, and now they can take Silent along for the
Dire's
smoke.
middle
I don't know
tower is under
how
attack.
worth it is. If they invade the jungle, they probably have a good idea that... oh, not again the key I wanted. S4 is doing business in here. So they probably know something like that. I just don't know if they'll actually end up catching anyone other than Arke.
I think the smoke's just a bit too late, unfortunately. Nice that they're giving space to the Dazzle, but I feel like the Rubik, he has to be the one getting the levels so he can be useful, but he also has to be the one moving around so that he can actually set up these kills.
Yeah.
It's a really awkward position for him to be in. At least he doesn't have to buy the wards this game, so he's going to be able to get his mana boots really soon if he die.
Now, let's talk itemization again, because I feel like Empire has this nice little peak they can do where their Darkseer is going to have a mech and my nuts will not have his mech for ages. S4, does he really have another invis? He's going to land the stun. Laguna Blade comes out. Aloha Dance erased from the map, and now they're thinking about Silence, but Silence does have his ult. Actually, the Bounty Rune's stolen. S4, what is he doing? He gets the ult, and now the Light Strike array. He could maybe kill this off. Silent, though, is running full health, and S4 needs some backup, and Silent realizes, oh, the ice shot's completely blocking her in. She does have a health potion going, but it's not going to be enough. And where is the backup? Uses that one Moonbeam, but oh, I can't believe there was no follow-up from Alliance. Silent going back in without the ult. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, and she immediately is like, nope, I'm out. That's going to be a cooldown. They're just waiting on the edges of it for Empire. I don't think they have the follow-up, but those ice shots from my nuts, beautiful.
Yeah, my nut's doing some beautiful plays there, and all this time, there's space for Bulldog, and he's going to do a lot of damage to the tower here. He pops his battle cry after the glyph. But Resolution's already TPing down, so it might not be tower dead, but it's quite a bit of damage at least.
And it's also free farm for Bulldog. We already talked about this. He's level 9. He had a great time. He wasn't farming the jungle or anything like the Darkseer, so his team overall a little bit ahead on experience because of that. And again, just off to a great start. Lots of options for him, and it looks like Luna
Ronan's
again.
dead, I think. And it gets the grave.
Yeah, Lena though is gonna just Laguna Blade Aloha Dance off the map again. This S4, how many kills is that now? 6-0. She has been he has been super liberal with his Laguna Blade, and I love it. Short cooldown on that spell, may as well just pop it into people.
And now Rubik's hating his life. He's not even level 5 at 12 minutes. He doesn't have an item except his boots, which he started the game with because he died twice when he's really close to his arcane boots. Like, I guarantee you, he's just saying to his team, I wish I just stacked and pulled to play greedy, because he could do a lot to like these heroes. If he gets up his level, steals any of the Lena nukes, she can do a lot of damage.
Oh. Resolution walking into a trap, doesn't realize, and the Surge! They're managing to channel the whole time, and they just kill him off. They had him locked down throughout all of that. He wasn't able to get away. And I really like these types of smoke plays. It feels like Alliance just outplaying Empire at a lot of these terms, understanding that Bulldog being out there makes the rest of Empire feel safe, so smoking behind him.
Yeah, and it says a lot when Empire wards something like this. Is a fairly safe place most of the time. It's having vision on the side, so they know if Bulldog has backup is good. But ideally, you want the ward like here, or if you're really far ahead, like somewhere along this line. But they just can't get to that place right now because Alliance is so far ahead with like all their heroes, and Empire don't have any mobile heroes to be able to go and do that for their supports.
Speaking of mobile heroes, this Luna, she probably looking towards the drums right now. Do you think it's Sanjin Yasha Gaming? Is there something else she can go? It feels like she needs an early BKB against a Gyrocopter, but then she's still going to be taking all of the physical damage from Alfredo. I'm not quite sure of how she should itemize to try and get back in this game.
I think Luna's item builds are always pretty standard. Mostly if you decide for the drums or not, but I think this game he has to tank up, so I'd expect like drums BKB. And maybe you go back for the helm afterwards, unless you feel like you really need the Manta to get out of the route. Maybe dodge some LSAs here or there.
Yeah.
But it's not an easy game for her to itemize, especially when you're this far behind.
100%. This is not a super easy game, I feel like, for Empire. I think if it went super late, maybe they could do something awesome with the team fight, but Alliance has a lot of nice answers to that as well. Winter's Curse gonna make you kill off your allies, and the Gyrocopter will also scale well, not to mention this lone druid and Alfredo doing mad work. He decides to go the Midas route this time.
Yeah, I think it's fine, because last game they were at a point where they wanted to try and get a lot out of the lone druid early, because I felt like last game they had good heroes to deal with the bear, but this game got a lot more freedom because he's ahead. His team knows he's ahead as well. You can just rock up as much gold as you can for the next few minutes.
Yeah.
No pressure to do anything right now. And Empire can't do anything either. Like, if they go into the Alliance's woods, they're all dead.
Yeah,
Most likely, anyway.
I think it is a game where Empire unfortunately have to wait a little bit, get up some more items on those core heroes. While they have the mech on the docks here, I'm not sure with the lead, and especially the level lead that Alliance has, they have level 2 ultimates on a number of heroes. It's just a lot more damage output coming out of Alliance right now, and so even the mech on docks here doesn't feel like it's enough to help win them these team fights. Maybe they can smoke, get some pickups? They're out of smokes, actually. Who is holding those bad boys? They have 2 smokes out on the deck. Yeah. So it is something. It's not impossible for them to smoke. It is hard though, I feel, because if Doxia has to commit a wall for a smoke and Luna may have to
They're going
commit
mid
the
with
eclipse.
fuels.
Yeah, oh, they don't actually manage to pick off Yoku, and there's a lot of backup coming out.
I think he was dead if he just popped Laguna, but scared of the TP rotations or just for Dazzle being there to grave. But as for opting to play it safe, which I think is the correct idea.
Yeah, they're ahead. No
They
need
also
to
managed to deward.
throw it away. And Alliance, even though it doesn't quite feel like it because we haven't had a lot of big team fights, we're only 8-1, not a lot of kills this game. Alliance getting close to 10,000 gold, 10,000 experience ahead, just outfarming Empire.
This is, I think, the entire reason the game's gone this way is because when they put Dazzle mid to try and help against Felina, they just let Lone Druid win bottom lane on his own. As soon as he got level 5, he killed off the Rubik, and then Luna constantly felt pressured. And while it helped out the Ducks here a lot that the Dazzle had stacks, and maybe Razor got a bit of help mid as well and got a few more CS because of it, actually going on Luna bottom.
Yep, and they managed to do the lift onto S4. They finally taking out this raid boss, the Cold Embrace, and they're not hitting the Eclipse Bolt. She has the Moonbeam in 1 second. Can he get it off? No! Alliance S4 is still alive, and the Fade Bolt not in range, not up on the sidelines. Also got Dazzle falling. A disastrous teamfight for Empire. They were so close to taking out S4. I think if they'd gotten S4, that whole engagement almost worth it. Almost worth it for them because of the bounty on S4's head, but just not able to make it latch. And
that's just so morale killing.
Yeah.
When you do the right play, you bait out the Luna, you get the lift off before she gets stunned, but she gets the Eclipse off. Unfortunately, it's level 1 Eclipse at 70
and there
minutes
was a
into the
creep
game.
wave.
Yeah. But I feel like if they wanted to do that, they had to have the Darkseer there because he's their mech. Like, Luna can get bursted so easily. They need the mech. And on top of that, the vacuum also helps a lot.
100%. And now they're going again. They have the Doxia up here, but here comes S4. Has the Laguna Blade if he wants it. Yoku is trying to be a pain, but where is his backup? S4 already out. Again, you can't do the damage if you can't chase down these heroes. And the Cold Embrace, Eye of the Storm is physical. Yoku realizing he can't do too much, trying to get rid of it. Let's see if the Plasma Field will be enough. He manages to at least get 1 pick off, and that is something for Empire, who were 2-13 at this point. He also wants that regen rune, but he decides it is too dangerous. And there is, in fact, a bunch of people coming from Alliance. Alfredo leading the charge, gonna get Plasma Field. Can Loda get this? Using the cooldown to slow him. He wants Alfredo to catch him. Alfredo is called back, and now Lone Druid just doing some work. There's gonna be a Yule's up. Goodbye, Rubik. Doesn't even need the Laguna Blade. They have more than enough damage. This is ridiculous. Alliance is so far ahead. And I honestly wasn't expecting this to be so one-sided. I know they had some one-sided games, but yesterday's games were 2-1, and Empire seemed to stick it out that first game. Both of these sets, after the early game, very firmly in Alliance's hands, and this game, even the early game, a bit one-sided.
I feel like that's just draft from Empire though. None of the heroes, like, sure in theory they have 2 winning lanes. They didn't even play to win both lanes. At the end of the day, Razor's meant to win his mid matchup, but I think he can go even against Lina for the first few minutes before she gets like level 6. So he doesn't need the help, but Luna losing her lane is like the worst thing that can happen to you. She's so far behind right now. She's even behind like the other 2 heroes on her team. Had like decent farm.
Not an easy hero to play from behind, and they're about to run into, they're trying to smoke pick off someone, but they're about to run into a bunch of Alliance heroes again because they're doing Roshan. I don't think Empire can even sneak this. Yeah, there won't be creeps around, but again, this is a level 1 Eclipse. Maybe Razor can leash someone, get off a really good steal, but immediate jump out. They do the telekinesis onto S4, they finally gonna take him down. Wall vacuum combo, but there's the call down, and they've got the Winter's Curse. Roche is coming to help out. S4 finally goes down. A lot of gold going Yoku's way, but this might not be enough, and now Razor fighting up against Loda in the backlines. They've got the roots onto Luna. She is not able to do anything. And at the same time, I don't even know where Razor's gone. Where is he? He's just trying to TP out. The rest of his team's gonna get blown up. Walrus Punch, and that's a very dead Doxia. Wall Vacuum just for one hero. Ice Shard's finishing him off.
I want to say that's the best Empire could have hoped for. Because S4 got caught out and pretty much killed off before he could do anything. He got both his nukes off, but wasn't quite able to get the Laguna as well. But they're just this far behind, and on top of that, the Spirit Bear with the Basher rapes this early game.
I think it's really rough here because there is a lot of stuff coming out from Alliance. They're way ahead in farm. We can see they're about 15,000 net worth ahead, over 10,000 experience. They've got items that Empire doesn't. They can just fight so well. Empire, to get back into this, I think, need the high ground defense of Dreams. Yes, if Alliance makes some mistakes, but I think it is super rough here. I actually really hope Empire doesn't GG out, because I think there is some hope with the heroes they have. You could certainly get a beautiful vacuum combo. They're actually picking up a pipe, try and deal with some of this damage output coming out of Alliance, but I think you need to play now super carefully here.
The big problem for them, though, is yes, they have decent heroes to defend the high ground, but if they vacuum, what's their follow-up? They don't have a stun. Is it like vacuum into telekinesis and then he throws it back onto the heroes that are moving away from you and you get like a 2 or 3 man stun? That's like super ideal, right?
Yeah, as you said, there's not the best of follow-up here, and I'm not sure how you fix that. Just their heroes, as you said, don't have follow-up to stuff like this. Telekinesis, even if you know, the person you lift doesn't get stunned by the secondary stun, so you're whiffed on that. Yeah, maybe you wall vacuum into Eclipse, but it is still a level 1 Eclipse. And again, Empire, they're about to run into the full man lineup of Alliance. Alfredo might not be there, but he can get there quickly. They're trying to get a pick off on Arke, but this isn't going to be enough. A Light Striker Ray on 2. Snowball coming in as well. Laguna Blade. They managed to save him, but Aloha Dance is going down quickly, and they don't have the damage output. Empire falling apart at the seams. Wall is dropped, but on no one, and now Dazzle's gonna die too, and they call the GG 22 minutes in.
Yeah, as soon as they go for that smoke, that's we have to get something or we believe the game is over.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they got 1 kill too many for Twitch chat to be happy, or Alliance got 2 too many.
Oh my goodness, yes!
But that was impressive by Alliance, and I'm not sure how much this comes into it, but I know No Fear's like an 8k pub player, but his drafts just seem to not be on point at all. Like, when you draft that, you have to play differently for it to work. Like, you have no comeback mechanism either, except just winning fights. But as soon as Alliance ended up getting map control, there's 3 greedy cores from Empire, and they all want farm, they all need space, but there wasn't on. And S4 also getting the blink early just meant he could do whatever he wanted, because there was no catch.
Yeah. Very dominant showing from Alliance today, really beating out Empire. Wasn't expecting it to be so dominant, but that's what you get sometimes in Dota. Once again, this has been Star Ladder. Alliance doing really well there. I'm Llama Down Under, joined by PQMZ. We'd love your feedback on how to get better with the casting, and you can leave that on Llama Down Under Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. PQMZ doesn't social media, so give me your feedback for him as well. We're going to go to a few words from the sponsors right quick. Do you have any last words, PQ?
I hope Alliance can keep playing like this, and I hope it's not just because they're playing like comfort heroes where Bulldogs on Lone Druid.
Oh, Loda apparently will come and be interviewed. Okay.
Yeah, they said they'd do some kind of interview if it came to it.
So I'm going to try to set that up. I'm going to quickly do the words from the sponsors, and then I will get us right into the interview. So we're going to cut it short. Please give us your feedback. We'll be with Loda right quick. So 1 second, folks.